guys, what's up? My name is Jimena, and today we're going to be talking about scientific censorship. But before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that for the month of September, the goal is for me to upload on Tuesdays and Saturdays for the whole month. So I'm trying this out. It's a trial and error thing, but we're doing this, okay? Anyways, let's just get started. So, the US federal government websites are crucial to our understanding of environmental awareness because they hold the research through which laws are made and implemented. And yeah, it sucks because, you know, the people that are making the environmental laws don't actually know anything about science. That's its own issue. But the Trump administration has continued to undermine scientific research by removing funding for the environmental sector, pretty much. So this includes the maintenance of websites and restricting access to certain content. So the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has warned us about catastrophic changes to the global climate, some of which we have already started feeling this year. And rather than taking this report as a warning, the Trump administration chose to release it on Black Friday to try to suppress its findings, and has continued to censor it by removing the words climate change from federal agency websites. So the Environmental Data and Governance Initiative, also known as EDGI, analyzes federal data, websites, and policy in order to promote environmental justice. And in 2019, they released a report called The New Digital Landscape: How the Trump Administration Has Undermined Federal Web Infrastructures for Climate Information. In this report, they monitored thousands of websites in search of keywords like climate change, clean energy, and adaptation. And in conclusion, they observed a 26% decrease between 2016 and 2018 of the use of these words across all websites. And over half of the pages where climate change was completely removed were from the EPA's website. So this video is going to take a look at the New Digital Landscape report and its findings. So first up, let's talk about a few examples of the removal of climate change references. The EPA altering its international cooperation site to reduce and generalize its use of the term climate change, undermining the sense that climate change should be a priority issue in the US foreign affairs. The 2017 version of the page included 2 introductory paragraphs that discussed challenges such as global climate change. The page also had 6 tabs that listed information on priorities such as climate change, air quality, and strong institutions. The strong institutions tab on the international priorities page discussed the EPA's work with other countries and linked to 11 country-specific pages. The EPA collaboration with China page was itself redesigned in June of 2018. But the following day, on June 15th, the words climate change were completely removed from the page. These changes to the EPA's collaboration with China were not simply reflecting shifting policy priorities between 2016 and 2018. They were undermining public understanding of global climate change. And they did so by, for example, substituting the discussion of methane emissions for more generally just air quality. But now, let's talk about how they've been changing the descriptions of science and scientists. So the EPA's Science Matters site is a main avenue into scientific research that the agency does. So the climate change researchers category was dissolved and individual scientists were moved into categories like ecosystems and health. Based on these researchers' bios, though, it doesn't appear that they actually shifted their work, just their titles. A similar modification was made at the Earth Systems Research Laboratory at NOAA, in which mentions of climate change in researchers' work were just removed. Similar, but not the same. Climate change and climate are often used interchangeably, but they are different subjects of study in a sense that climate is one thing and climate change is the rate of change of that thing. And I hate that this is the only example that I could think of right now, but think of it as a derivative. If you've ever taken calculus, how the first derivative is the rate of change of the original equation. That's kind of how this is. And I'm sorry if you don't know calculus, because that's the only example that's coming to mind. Yeah, it's kind of like that, where climate is one thing and climate change is the rate of change of that one thing. I don't know. I hope that made sense. Also, one of the research facilities listed on the BER page had its name changed from ARM Climate Research Facility to simply ARM Research Facility. Lastly, let's just talk about the restriction to climate change pages. So the EPA has withdrawn climate change resources from the public domain without explanation. In December of 2018, EDGI scanned approximately 10,000 URLs across the EPA's website and found that 334 either redirected to other URLs, were restricted access, or no longer existed. And the restricted access pages are especially troubling because they suggest that the page exists, but the agency doesn't want you to see it. And they have offered absolutely no explanation for this. And the 57 pages that were restricted address important climate change issues, including climate change research and components of the Greenhouse Gas Reporting Program, as well as environmental protection on tribal lands and international cooperation. Discussion of the visible and experienced outcomes of climate change, such as extreme weather and droughts, wildfires, storms, and floods is crucial for public understanding of climate change. In 2018, much of the southwestern United States experienced persistent drought conditions. California had the deadliest wildfire season in history. The Gulf Coast and southeast US were bombarded by 8 hurricanes, and the term wildfires decreased by 47% across the EDGI's sample of the EPA's website. This was mostly due to the removal of the page epa.gov/climate change. On the Forest Service's website, the term wildfires also decreased by 47%, even though the Forest Service is tasked with mitigating and responding to wildfires. On pages sampled on the FEMA website, the term wildfire increased from 0 uses to 14 total mentions. On the Department of Interior's website, there were only a few references to drought on pages they sampled. In 2016, the Water Challenges section referred to lengthening droughts as one of 3 primary water issues the nation faced. And in the 2018 version of the water landing page, titled Clear Water, reference to droughts and all other challenges were removed. In conclusion, across the 5,301 pages tracked by EDGI, the use of the term climate change decreased from 6,000-ish in 2016 to 4,000-ish in 2018, which is about a 26% decrease, or in other words, 1/4 of the Obama administration's direct discussion of climate change on pages was completely removed. 1/4 of its progress gone. Well, a little bit more than that, but like in this sector in particular, like in this climate discussion. This was further helped by the appointment of climate change skeptics to head the EPA, who allowed right-wing climate denialist groups privileged access to voice their concerns and order the removal of certain web pages. The Heartland Institute, in particular, submitted reports directly to the White House. Whether we choose to acknowledge it or not, climate change is a problem that is affecting us right here, right now. It affects international relations, urban infrastructure, public health, water usage, and a lot of other spheres of public and governmental concern. And if agencies are to be trusted, climate change has to be prioritized as a key contributing factor to these issues. However, by removing the discussion of it from the public domain, the Trump administration has taken steps to undermine the sense that climate change is factually a pressing issue. So, yeah. I don't know how to come back from that. Yeah, the world sucks. I know, like, it may just seem like, oh, they're just changing climate change to climate. Like, what's the big deal? Like, no. When you take into account the fact that most people making laws don't know shit about science, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when language becomes very important, and taking these words off of the stuff that they look at to determine whether they're going to pass a law or not. Ridiculous. But what can I do? I can tell you guys what's happening, because I bet some of you watching this didn't know that this happened. This is just a thought. Maybe you did. Maybe you've read the report. If you did, like, regardless whether you read it or you learned something new today, leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. I really appreciate every single person that has commented on my videos. You are great, and you make my day with your comments. Like, I love reading them. So keep commenting, because I really do appreciate you guys. But I will see you on Tuesday and Saturday in September. So don't forget to hug a tree, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.